Rival Sports Pod, covering the New York sports scene and behind the scenes, including the Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, New York Mets, and everything else in New York sports worth your precious time. And now here's Joe Pastor and Glenn Ferretti.
Another episode of Rival Sports Pod. Glenn, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
I'm
How
doing
are you?
very well, very well. I'm quite pleased with how things played out this weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure you're riding high. I'm riding high. It's good to see the Bills fans back with some hope. You know, it is sad that they use the Jets as their barometer for success, but whatever gets you going in the right direction, I guess that's what you got to do.
So, yeah, that's a point. I mean, the Bills certainly should have won that game. They're the favorite going into it. But, let's not discount, the numbers they put up against the Jets. They're only the second team to put 30 on them. I think the Bills had the second most total yardage, against the New York Jets. So, that is a good defense,
Yeah, definitely.
Just the only problem is it seems to be they just can't score. I don't think they converted any third downs. And along that lines, I guess we'll start right away with a present for the New York Jets.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. I'm sure they really deserve a present this year.
This is weird. There's a bunch of coins in here, some change. Why would the Jets need some change? I get it.
Well,
They need a quarterback.
there you go. I thought you were going to give him some keys for Zach Wilson to drive himself out of town.
Yeah, he might need to at this point. But he really had no chance at the beginning of the game. I mean, he had Bills coming in his face from all over the line, certainly at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, he is clearly not an NFL quarterback, and it's just finally the straw that broke the camel's back. I know you're talking about the defense to start, and obviously, yeah, they worked them yesterday. Every part of the team got work. Special teams. I was live at the game. I literally have never seen a team just be so inept in a football game live in my entire life, and that's youth football, high school football, college football. It literally looked like the Bills had 40 guys on both sides of the field, the way the Jets were playing. And, it was kind of nice. We had really good seats because, most of the Bills fans had given up hope last year. So we picked up 50-yard line, 5-row seats for a little over $100 a ticket. So they're right behind the Jets bench. And I could tell you there is some certain shattering going on that defense now. I mean, once they got into the second half and it was the same old story over and over again, you saw the leaders, Quinnen Williams, barking at other players, Whitehead specifically on the blown coverage that, Sauce tried to make a play on. He'll take all the criticism of it, even though it really wasn't his man to be guarding. But, like he said, he should have made a play on it. And then Mosley getting into it with the fans for a good 4 or 5 minutes, just barking back and forth. So, I mean, you could see the team is especially the defense specifically. I think this was finally the game that broke them to where they just realized, we can't put up a shutout every single week to have any shot of winning. It's absolutely ridiculous.
You really got into it with the fans for that long?
Oh, yeah. It was a good 4 or 5 minutes, barking back and forth, pointing at his chest. Obviously, the Bills fans are rowdy as could be, but nobody coming over to get Mosley away from him. Finally, it ended. A coach finally came over and was like, just forget about it. And he sat down, but he went back 2 or 3 times, standing over the bench, just screaming into the crowd a few times. It was pretty crazy to watch.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. You might see a short interaction, but yeah, not for that length of time. That's really interesting.
Yeah, no, he was definitely going at it, but I mean, the frustration level is, obviously at an all-time high. You saw it playing out on the field at the end of the game with Dawkins and Michael Clemens. And the fake death on the field. I thought that was kind of a little bit of a tone deaf decision from Dawkins, just knowing all the Bills had been through, and especially with a player, I think it was Jackson, had gotten ambulanced off the field earlier in the game, but I don't think Dawkins is known to be the greatest thinker in the
Yeah,
world.
that was Rapp, who I guess is home. He's at home recovering.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah, but it's
that
the
was
Jets. The only time they could do anything was when they had the 2-minute drill at the end of the first half, and that's something that's been problematic for the Bills. Is that 2-minute drill, right? Like they let the Patriots march down for the game-winning drive. They let the Buccaneers get back in the game and almost win the game on a Hail Mary. They let Denver, march down the field and kick that field goal. It's really been a problem for the Bills is that 2-minute defense, which is
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how much I would put on them. It was sparked by a ridiculous fake punt.
Was it?
By Morstead, so I wouldn't give the offense of the Jets that much credit. They converted the 4th and 2 and got 25 yards on the play.
Still scored. It was probably the best pass of the day from Moorhead. What's his name?
Yeah, Morstead. Yeah, that guy's a unit. Seeing him up close, I was like, man, that guy should be on our offensive line. Maybe he'd provide a little bit more protection. But yeah, I mean, he dumped it off twice to Breece Hall, and he was able to make things happen. I mean, there was nothing special that Zach Wilson did on that drive to put up any points, and it just shows like the Jets' faith in scoring any points is that you're going into the second quarter. The Bills still had a chance, I think, to get the ball back there too, but we're down 16-6, and we're going for 2 already.
That was weird
in that scenario. Yeah, it's like that basically makes you feel like, all right, we have to put up 0 and hope that we can score another touchdown the rest of the game. Like we have no faith in this offense at all. It was kind of pathetic to even watch that we're going for 2 that early in the game.
Yeah. Weird coaching decision. Coaching decision that the Bills fans liked was, how Brady looked as OC. Because, going into the game, I think we talked about, from the Bills, you might see the Jeff Saturday factor where the team comes out fired up with the coaching change. But he had some nice scheming going on. Some of the things we saw was the middle of the field being used, particularly early, hitting Kincaid because they had not been using the middle of the field. Under Dorsey. And then when the Jets adjusted and were covering Kincaid, that's when you started seeing a lot of the motions with the running backs, guys wide open, or they were almost motioning Diggs a lot, like as a decoy. And particular, I think they used him as a decoy. They used Gabe Davis as a decoy on the touch.
Yeah, he's quite a decoy.
That's about all he's good for on the touchdown pass. What a hunter would call him is the stool pigeon.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's non-existent. So it worked out this game, not really needing Diggs or Gabe Davis. I don't know if that's a recipe for success in the future, but yeah, I can't tell you the last time I've seen a Jets running back be as wide open as James Cook is on a simple motion play, and he goes out into the flats, and it's like the easiest touchdown in the world. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I guess I know the Bills are playing the Eagles next. How much Joe Brady has made a difference, but this Jets team did not bring it. That's for sure for this game. I think they've officially, mailed it in. But
and the other thing you saw was Josh Allen running the ball again. You saw some draws, some designed runs with Josh Allen. They don't work all the time, but they don't have to.
Yep.
What it does again is it gets teams to respect the fact that the threat that Josh Allen is. That's one of the special things about him is the threat that he is running the ball. And sometimes that's all you need is the threat of it. And then when you make them defend all levels of the field, that really helps the offense. And then the other thing was you didn't have the costly, turnovers. I mean, the one and the announcer said it that counts on the stat sheet at the end of the first half, but that's a different kind of interception than some of the other ones we've been seeing.
Yeah, well, you guys don't count all of his interceptions anyway, so just chalk that one up to another non-counting
that
interception.
One doesn't count. Or it's like Mahomes' wife that if a ball is tipped or touched by the offense, the receiver,
it should count for the other guy.
Yeah, it doesn't count. But about Josh Allen, we got a gift for Josh as well. We're got a couple of gifts here.
You're in a real giving mood.
A slide. I get it. If he's running the ball, Josh better slide. He did take one big hit, but he did slide, as well. So
Yeah, he wasn't under much pressure. I think Quinnen Williams was the only one to get to him in the game, so he didn't have to do too much there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's an interesting game. It was sad to be at. Just trying to enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the game. I've been to 2 Bills games in the last 7 years, and we scored 0 points the last time and 6 points this time. So I don't know if I'm a good luck charm for the
Did
Jets.
you wear your Jets gear?
Nah, I didn't. My son did. He wore his Aaron Rodgers jersey. You want to keep it real for him. But unfortunately, we didn't even see Rodgers. He didn't come down to the field at all during the game. Hackett was up in the booth. They were trying some things differently. Clearly, they didn't work. But yeah, that was another interesting dynamic. That was kind of cool being that close to the sideline. You could really see everything. And I could tell very quickly that the team was very divided when it comes from offense. I mean, you're usually watching players interacting after drives, kind of seeing what's worked, but it was literally like clockwork where Zach Wilson would come out of the game. He'd sit right in the same spot. They'd throw his little beanie cap on him, put his jacket on him, and they'd hand him a Microsoft Surface Pro, and he'd start watching plays, and then the receivers would just sit down the end of the bench and not interact at all. It was kind of crazy to see. The only interaction I saw with Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson was when he got benched. He went over there and talked to him for a few seconds, but obviously trying to lift his spirits up. But I don't know. The Jets fans are not really that excited about the change to any quarterback, especially a guy that has no track record. I actually Googled. This is a fun Google, and it was because I've never really heard of Tim Boyle.
Yeah, me neither.
And I was like, oh, let me see what his path to the NFL was. So he was undrafted. He went to UConn and Eastern Kentucky for graduate senior year. So I Googled, how did Tim Boyle make the NFL? And literally the first thing that comes up in his description is Boyle first broke into the NFL in 2018 when he signed with the Packers as an undrafted free agent. He spent 3 years with the team, learning as much as he could from Aaron Rodgers and forging a relationship with the quarterback. Like, this is his bio on Google when you put his path to the NFL or how did he make the NFL. Like I love it that we brought in Aaron Rodgers, but every other person that has come with him has just been a complete disaster.
Yeah, it's for sure. I even heard that Boyle in college was like awful. Like he had like 1 touchdown and 18 interceptions or something like that.
Well, his last season he had like 11 touchdowns. Yeah, he was terrible at UConn. But yeah, he has it's what a friend of mine just told me as well. He has like 12 total touchdowns since high school and like 30 interceptions. Like it's something crazy. Like you wonder how the heck the guy's in the NFL, but you got him, you got Lazard, who's just been a complete disaster. Hackett's been a disaster. Cobb. And then I know what's his Cobb. Yeah, he's been hurt. He hasn't even played. And then I know Rodgers wanted Dalvin Cook as well, even though he wasn't a Packer. I think they had a good relationship as well. And he hasn't really done anything either.
It better be worth it at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Right now, I don't feel like anything could be worth it. With the offensive line that this team has, I don't think it matters who's there. He'd be absolutely crazy to come stand behind the line that we have out there right now.
Yeah, definitely not this year. But I don't know. I guess if I were a Jets fan, I would just be hoping next year he comes in guns a-blazing, so you don't end up wasting, that defense.
Yeah, no, I know. If I'm those guys, I mean, they are definitely looking for a way out of there. I mean, I know Q just signed a log deal, but I mean, it's tough to waste years of C.J. Mosley, Quincy Williams, Sauce, D.J. Reed, all these guys playing together, because in the NFL it doesn't usually last forever.
No.
So yeah, it could be a wasted defense. We'll see if Rodgers comes back, but I can't even get my mind around getting excited about anything Jets related with what the system and what the team is like right now. It's just an utter
I
disaster.
get it. That's how I am with the Mets. I'm like, I don't care who they hired a coach. It's like I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
I don't care that they're talking to Severino. you know, um,
yeah. Well, actually, yeah, I heard they're paying the Mets coach like a little over $1 million a year. Like we have a 250, 300, whatever, $350 million payroll, and their coach is making $1 million
they
bucks.
get
Like
the
it's crazy.
bargain coach.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't know. Watching the press conference from Salah and talking about the Zach Wilson situation, like he's done. I mean, he's 100% done. I mean, they said he'll be the third string quarterback this week, and one of the guys asked him, he's like, "Yeah, so why not just like release him and like cut him? Like, what is the point of like doing this?" And he's like, "We'll deal with that in the off season." And he continues to just point to like, "Hey, it's all 11 guys. It's not just one guy." And I'm like, dude, the way he's handling this situation is like we've given this guy 3 years with absolutely like no results. And I try to look at like other teams that have drafted guys and they're not working out. Like they never get 3 years.
Yeah,
Like you look at like Josh Rosen, high draft pick, never even stepped on the field really. And whatever team he was in, they pretty much cut him like within like weeks if he wasn't doing well.
Jamarcus Russell. How long did he last?
Zach Wilson and Jamarcus Russell's stats are almost identical for their careers right now. It's scary. But even what's his name, Trey Lance.
Oh yeah,
Like Shanahan was like, yeah, he's like just not good enough to play. Like we're gonna play Brock Purdy, like he's gone. So it's like for some reason we love to coddle our players, and it kind of has put us in that situation.
Well, they
like,
really didn't have
I know,
a choice this year, though. Like, had they brought in another guy or backup earlier, you would have another option. But when your option is Boyle, it kind of forces you to stick with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, no, I mean they had a better option last year with Mike White, and we let him walk for 2 years for $8 million. Like I would have much rather just said cut Zach Wilson and keep Mike White as the backup. Either way, you're not winning anything with those guys, but at least they've proven that they could, score some points and take the team down the field. Like it's completely unwatchable when you go 4 or 5 games without.
But
even
look at the
scoring.
Steelers or the Browns. The Browns might be a good example if you have a team with a really good defense and subpar quarterback play. I mean, those are two playoff teams, and if you watch those teams play, those offenses are abysmal.
Yeah, but who's picking those teams to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
Like just
nobody.
making them.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean. Once Aaron Rodgers went down, like the whole chance of winning the Super Bowl is gone. So, yeah, if you want to bring someone in to have a serviceable year, like I would have stuck with someone and not just went back to the same old decision. The guy got 2 years. Salah was talking about how he really wishes that Zach Wilson would have gotten this entire year to watch Aaron Rodgers, but circumstances didn't work out that way. It's like, dude, he was the number 2 pick overall in the draft. Like and he's played 2 years. Like we're not talking about a guy that was like drafted in the 5th round. We're trying to mold in. It's like, dude, if he doesn't show anything in 2.5 years of football, you just got to be like, this is, how many times did they just like, this is a business. Like, unfortunately, this is a business. Like it's a production based business, and he's not producing.
No, no, not at all. But like the Browns, and it's almost, I almost can't believe I'm saying this, but like the way the NFL this year with the scoring being down, what if the Browns defense goes on lockdown mode in the playoffs and marches through to the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. Are they going to do that?
Could happen.
Are they going to be able to outscore Kansas City regardless of what
Maybe.
they do? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. They just flew in Joe Flacco and signed him to a contract.
I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just saying if there was a year, I guess the point I'm trying to make, if there was a year where you could win with subpar quarterback play, it seems to be that this is the year, by the way the scoring is down, by the way that like Vegas is getting killed with the unders. If anyone bets the under, it's like it's the most boring bet to make.
I know, most profitable and most boring.
But
what is it like? The prime time unders are like 12 in a row or something.
Yes. So like if you're gonna have a year where you could play boomer football and have a good defense and go to a Super Bowl, it's certainly in the AFC. It seems like this would be the year to do that. So, and again, that's why it's like it's just so crushing as a Bills fan when you sit there and you're like, if this team was playing anywhere near how you thought we were going to play, it would be our year, like the 13 seconds year. And you know, the way that Brady's given us some hope. There's even a Joe Burrow comment out there. It's an old thing where he was talking about getting to the NFL and he was being thankful of his coaches at LSU, but he goes, I also want to thank the offensive assistant, Brady, for developing me, and he's done, so much, and he was very complimentary, towards them. So, but it could just be another, chance of, Bills fans getting our hopes up.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know,
That's just what I love. This is honestly, when the Jets are bad, the second best thing is Bills fans have hope. That's the number two thing in my life, is that you guys get so much hope and now enter murderer's row
Yeah.
schedule. And if they come out unscathed from that, or make some hay with that, then hey, more power
if they
to
go
them.
1-2, you got to win out to go 10-7, right? You can go 2-1, and then you're looking pretty.
Yeah, I think the Eagles game will obviously really tell if they're going to compete or not. Like, they need to go out, and like you said, I don't know if they need to specifically win that game. Obviously, it would drastically help them, but they need to show that they can compete, because the next 5 or 6 games are going to be really tough as well.
I think they do need to win, and the reason is to keep the momentum going, because you also have the bye after that, and I don't think they want to sit around thinking about a loss. Like, I would rather, this is going to sound crazy, I would rather they beat the Eagles and lost to the Chiefs. Like, you could talk about AFC tiebreakers, but I'm not so sure those are going to matter, because like the Bills AFC record, I think they're 2 games behind. It was either Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I think they're 2 or 3 games behind. So I don't think that matters. I want them to keep the momentum going and go, defeat the Eagles. I think this is a must-win game. I would not, discount that, just because of the momentum piece in the NFL is so huge. To have that confidence, you got 2 weeks preparing with your new OC, coming off some wins. I think they really need to win this game.
Yeah, they definitely can't go out there and lay an egg, or you're back to square one, and then everyone's like, well, they beat the Jets. They're a complete disarray. Like, we're still struggling. So, yeah, the mood will completely change if they lose that game. That's for sure.
And you got the Chiefs, you got the Cowboys, you got the Chargers, who are good on paper, but the Chargers are going to charger.
They find a way to lose every game.
And it's always been the case. Like, even going back to the Drew Brees, Marty Schottenheimer days, when they'd be like 15-1 or 14-2, and then get bounced.
Can't get it done. I know. Yeah, that Brandon Staley, he took a reaming from Rex Ryan today too. But dude, I mean, you can't continue to lose the games with one of the best quarterbacks. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine where we'd be if Justin Herbert was on our team. That they continue to squander the games with him. And it's not like he's surrounded with no one. I mean, he's got one of the best receivers of all time. The guy will probably be a Hall of Famer with Keenan Allen. He's so underrated. I think he literally never drops the ball. Got a good running game, and Staley, I think, is supposed to be a defensive coach. So I don't know what the problem is.
And you got Austin Eckler. You got Bosa on that defense. That defense is stacked. So yeah, how they are where they are is just amazing. And we actually got a question about that. This one comes in from Joe in Penfield. You'll like this question, Glenn. I think he's trolling the Bills here. It's from Joe in Penfield. So we do check these. So if you listen, like, subscribe, send us emails, DM, slide up in my DMs. I don't know if that applies in this case. I don't think
that might be
how you use that.
I think you just went too far there.
But anyway, like, subscribe, smash that. But this is from Joe in Penfield. He says, is Stephon Diggs a top 10 receiver? Question mark. I don't think so. I have guys like St. Brown, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith, C.D. Lamb, D.K. Metcalf, Keenan Allen, that's where this comes up, Calvin Ridley, and DeAndre Hopkins, all rated higher. What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what he's talking about. Is he just talking about like this year and like right now in this week's games? I mean, some of those names are players that just had good games this week. Like, I wouldn't take Metcalf over him. I probably wouldn't take Ridley over him. it's tough. I mean,
Well, what about
mean,
Hopkins?
it's close
and
between Keenan Allen. Yeah,
now?
Hopkins, he's kind of a little bit. Yeah, yeah, Hopkins now probably not. I mean, I've always had Diggs in the top 10.
Mhm.
I think anyway. I mean, he's consistent game in and game out unless Gardner's guarding him, but he doesn't really follow guys around the field. So I don't know. He had a chance to make some plays, but nothing really happened. But I mean, he's a guy that you can count on. He brings it every single game. That's the guy I want. I don't know if you get those kind of consistent results from some of those other guys.
I think that is the thing with Diggs is the consistency that he brings he brings to the table, and being a number one guy, like throwing Devonta Smith in there, and I know he had to be number one for a
that
year
one too. Yeah,
I don't.
he drops more balls than
Yeah,
anyone.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something clever to follow that up with, but
Well, I would have thought an interesting one would have been AJ Brown.
Yep, he's in there
more than anything.
He was on there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, AJ Brown's an absolute animal right now, but over time, I would say Diggs was probably very comparable to his career, but he's kind of exploded with Jalen Hurts and gotten better and better. Where we got the crappy Titans receiver in Corey Davis that decided to retire right before the season started. We could really use that guy right now.
No kidding. Yeah, it's CeeDee Lamb in there as well. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's
now he's on fire.
Yeah, he is. Physical specimen too. Like when you look like guys like AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, the physicality, the size of those guys, they certainly have a lot of Diggs. I think what just makes Diggs, in my mind, all that more impressive is that he's not the biggest guy, he's not the fastest guy, but he's just a good football player.
Yeah, he's elusive. I mean, he's broken some tackles. I didn't expect to see him break this year. He's turned into some big gains. He's a little bit of a complainer. I know you guys don't like to say that, but I'm sure those other guys are too. So
yeah, it's
a good question. Yeah, it's a good question.
It's a fine line between complainer and competitive, right?
Yeah, he's competitive. He wants the ball. Keyshawn Johnson always wanted the ball.
And they want to go after him. Like they won't let the thing with his brother go. They want to ask him about it. And I like how he pawns it off. He goes, "You'll have to ask him." I know
how
he feels. He's a fan sitting at home. He said.
Yeah, is that what he said?
He's saying those things as
funny.
a fan. So
Yeah.
So he's kind of
he wants to play with his big bro.
So yeah, how much of that is the media too blowing that up? So.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it was a good week for the Bills to get all the naysayers off their back for a week. Give them a chance to breathe. You know how that goes. People, it's usually not as bad as it seems, but it's usually not as good as it seems either when things are going well. So it's kind of a get-right game for them coming into the tough end of the schedule. So we'll see what happens. The atmosphere was good. I mean, it was electric. There's a lot of Bills fans shouting and cheering. It was an early exit for us, so we did get to see the final bell go off.
How late did you stay?
We stayed till like right in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and we were out of there.
When did you get home?
Yeah, didn't take long. There wasn't much traffic at that time.
I'm hearing about people getting home like 11:30 who stayed for the whole game.
No, it wasn't bad. I actually thought that was a perfect time to go to a football game. As at first I was like, oh, it kind of stinks we're going to a 4:25 game. I don't know why we're not just playing this game at 1:00. I might even have said that. But it was kind of nice to get up at noon. We went up to Duff's in Buffalo. Great wing spot. We were able to get lunch there. And then we got to the stadium, met some friends around 1:30, 2:00, walked up. And then my son wanted to get in the game. So we went in the game at 2:30, 3:00, somewhere around there. And then just kind of hung out on the ledge and were able to kind of mix it up with some of the players. A couple of them came over. We're slapping some people up, throwing the football into the stands, back and forth. So it was cool to be able to be in there and see that. Plus, our seats were right behind the Jets sideline, so we got the up close and personal with all them. It was pretty good. But really, those seats are kind of tough at Bills games. I would actually rather have been about 20 rows up in the first level just because you got the CBS camera that always seems to be right in front of you. When they're on like anywhere between the 40 and 40, when you're at the 50-yard line, it's tough to kind of see the action. So those people 15, 20 rows up probably have the best seats in the house.
Yeah. If you're in it's not even the worst seat in the world if you're in the front of the 300 level on the 50. I mean, obviously you want to be
Yeah, no, it's
closer,
not
but that's
bad.
not bad if you're towards the middle, of the 300s. I've been back in the corner, and
Yeah.
that's no fun. I've been close to the ledge, in the corner of the 300 level, and all I kept thinking the whole game is like, has any like drunkard ever fell off to their doom at this place?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We didn't see any crazies, but a game like that, there's really not much, you know, going on from a shit talking perspective or anything like that because it's kind of over. What
Yeah.
are we really gonna say when you're down 32 to
And
6? There's not much to really say.
Bills
But
fans
yeah,
are
it was.
happy, so they're not going to be all
Yeah,
angry. Yeah.
everyone was having a good time. They were killing them. Or a little earlier in the game, there's a little bit of jawing back and forth, but after that, I didn't see anything.
From your
So
point of view, did you get a good look when, because there was a couple of comical moments, not as good as the butt fumble for Zach Wilson when he tripped and fell on the
yeah,
field, and then
I didn't see it
when he
live.
ran into Salah and got bodied by his coach.
Yeah, I saw that. That was up close and personal. I couldn't really tell which coach it was when it happened, but yeah, it definitely looked like it's some tumbleweeds on our sidelines. But yeah, we couldn't see anything when he fell on his
Okay.
butt. That would have been a fun one to watch
And
as
we
well.
actually got another question about your coach, about Salah, and this one comes from Kara in Greece. She wants to know why they show him so much on television. They show him, it seems, way more than any coach, especially ours. I guess she means McDermott. Why do they seem to think he's so photogenic?
I don't know. He's a good-looking guy, I guess. I really don't know. I'm glad he finally shaved that beard off. I mean, he got more questions about how dark that beard was than anything in the world during the press conferences. Two things I've had enough of is watching Robert Saleh run the stadium stairs before every game tweets and beard tweets as well. It's like, yeah, there's really way too much attention paid on the guy making pretty bad decisions with his player personnel right now. But yeah, maybe they just like that Robert Saleh. He's a handsome man out there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's got a lot of kids too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely going to catch some heat here now. I mean, you can only make these decisions for so long. He made they did make some personnel changes. I know they elevated Brownlee, the rookie receiver, and he was getting some snaps actually over Lazard to start the game. I mean, Wilson didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver, I don't think, so he didn't get much action. And then you saw Jeremy Rucker at tight end getting snaps over CJ Uzama. So he talked about it today that they definitely started to elevate some rookies and some younger players, which I think probably made him feel a little better about benching Zach Wilson. But I mean, I can't imagine what this game's going to be like against the Dolphins.
Do you think he's safe, Salah? Like, could you fire him? Because it seems like you can't fire Hackett. And it almost, to me, it would be like good luck getting another reputable coach to come in and want to have Hackett be their OC.
Yeah, no, I think this whole staff is going to make it through the Aaron Rodgers, time with the Jets, and then they're going to make some decisions if we don't make things happen. But we need to draft some quarterbacks. I don't even care if we go. I mean, you look at the Redskins, like legendary draft where everyone thought they were crazy drafting Robert Griffin and Kirk Cousins, and they wound up hitting on one of two and not the one they expected. So I mean, I would not be against the Jets drafting two quarterbacks in the next draft and trying to make things happen.
They could have held on to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, they could have.
He's a lot better quarterback than I think he gets credit for.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anyone would say they wouldn't want him on their team.
Washington didn't want him anymore,
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, he was a free agent.
Yeah. But how hard did they try to keep him, though?
No, I mean, yeah, you don't know if he didn't want to be there anymore. Who knows? But yeah, not many quarterbacks make it to free agency, especially ones of his caliber. There's very few and far between that actually happening. They're usually locked up way before that, or just never happens.
Yeah,
just like the Bills did with Allen.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. And you saw a different Allen, right, with all the energy and fun he's having because they've unshackled him and let him run. The other change you saw in Allen was he cut his hair and shaved.
Yeah, that was nice to see. Yeah, maybe he's just going for a complete turnaround.
Could be. Or maybe he got a hold of, you see the meme with the alternate Madden cover?
No, I didn't
So
see
there's this
that.
one with him, and he's got like a sad look on his face with his, unshaven, long hair. Looks all disheveled. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like I said. I think it's going to be determined as we get into next week. Nice win for the Bills. They embarrassed my Jets. Made us look pathetic, like we are. But I'm hoping it's a blessing in disguise that we can now move on from Zach Wilson and start figuring out what the heck we're doing post Aaron Rodgers if he even comes back. So I'll give them credit for pretty much ending his career with the Jets.
Okay.
But yeah, with the Bills, we'll see what happens. I think they're still kind of a wait and see. Are they that 5-5 team, or are they about to start a run to the playoffs? That's what makes it interesting. I mean, like we talked, or the Jets were talking about that earlier. Is the Jets went on a 3-game losing streak, 3-game winning streak, 3-game losing streak. So it's like football is, like you said earlier, a game of momentum and a game of
And
runs.
it's like, as a Bills fan, it's like, what do you prefer? Because part of me liked the fact that the Bills finally got the respect from the media, Super Bowl favorite, all this other stuff. But part of me didn't like it because I was so used to being the underdog. And, there's part of me, and I think part of everybody, right? That's why movies like Rocky and stuff are so big, where you want to cheer for the underdog. But here,
I would bet most quarterbacks and most teams would rather be the underdog than being the one that's chased all the time. That's the hardest thing with teams that win the Super Bowl, is having to repeat. A lot of them really struggle in the next year. That's same thing with just making the playoffs in general. There's always new teams every other year.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we're back to the idea of, well, who do we want to win? It's the Browns and the Steelers are playing, who's they got next,
Yeah, you still got a few weeks for that, I think.
Yeah, you do. I mean, obviously when, it's like the Seahawks playing the Steelers or whatever, you're going to want Seattle, but
Yeah, if there's not an obvious choice. But yeah, I mean, it starts. When do they play? Sunday? Do they play Sunday?
Another 4:00 game.
Okay, that'll be a good one.
They have the Cowboys. Is it Thanksgiving? No, they don't. Excuse me. They have the Eagles. It's 4.
No, they're playing the Eagles.
It's 2 games. They're 2. I think they got 4:00. I think they have 2 or 3 4:00 in a row. They got a 4:00 against the Eagles, and I think they have a bye at another 4:00 against the Chiefs. I saw a lot of 4:00.
Yeah, the Jets are Friday, Black Friday, first ever Black Friday game.
I've been looking at this so much, I can't remember who they play. I have this stare.
Yeah, I know. I know for sure it's the Eagles this week.
I've just stared at the schedule for so long.
Yeah, well, Eagles will be coming off a short week. They're playing tonight, so that's a huge game. So that one, you're an Eagles fan tonight.
Yeah.
Have to be.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, that should be a good one. I'm excited about watching tonight's game. It's been a lot of either Jets or Bills on Monday night the last couple weeks, and a lot of games I haven't really been super interested before that. But I'm real excited to see this one and kind of see if Mahomes, same thing with Buffalo. He's had with Allen, he hasn't had his best year. I know we've talked about it, but they've been winning games. So now this is a game for them that they probably have, marked as one of the ones where they want to really show what they're made of. It's a chance for Mahomes to do that. I feel like this might break the under streak tonight.
Yeah, it could easily do that. But again, just when you expect something to happen, but I think conventional wisdom would say that will happen. What is the over-under for...
I know, I was trying to look it up. It's got to be mid-40s, somewhere around there. Yeah, 46.
Even that seems...
Chiefs minus 2.5. Got the Taylor Swift effect, though, in effect tonight, being a home game for Kansas City.
Is she there, or does she have a show? I thought I heard...
Oh, I don't know. I honestly don't follow her that closely.
Well, the only reason is because someone was talking about Travis Kelce's performance when she's there versus not there.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, maybe she won't be there. I know he was just at a show for her, and it was in some other country. Okay. So I know it was maybe she's not back yet.
I need 18 points from Kelce and Pacheco to win my fantasy matchup. I know people love...
No, you should be pretty good.
I know people love hearing other people talk about their fantasy team.
Yeah, well, especially when it comes down to Monday night, it's always good to have those couple guys going.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. It's a good win for you guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see what happens.
All right, go Bills.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you
See ya.
later. See ya.
Thank you for listening to Rivals Sports Pod. Please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also email us at rivalsportspod@gmail.com with any topics, ideas, or questions.